Prepare to qualify.
Released in the US November 30th, 1982, Pole Position quickly established itself as one of the most popular video games of all time. This simple-to-play, yet challenging-to-master racing simulation quickly became the highest-grossing arcade game for both 1983 and 1984, and was awarded Coin-Op Game of the Year by Electronic Games. Developing company Namco sought to capitalize on Pole Position's popularity, porting the game to numerous platforms, developing sequels, and licensing the Pole Position brand. The Parker Brothers company even created a Pole Position board game, while DiC Enterprises was licensed to develop a Saturday morning cartoon. As a child of the 80s, I remember waking up early every Saturday to watch 6 hours of cartoons while recording 6 other hours onto VHS tape to watch throughout the remainder of the day. Over 30 years later, I now have kids of my own, and there's a whole generation out there that have no idea about Centurions, Wheeled Warriors, and Silverhawks. So, what if I shared with you all the details I can remember about these iconic animated adventures? What if I told you secrets about production and the talent that created them? Together, we can learn just how relevant these shows could be if they were still on today. It's time for us to reanimate our youth. Pole Position debuted on CBS September 15th, 1984. It revolves around orphan siblings named Dan and Tess Darrett performing in a traveling pole position stunt show. Their vehicles were sentient machines that could talk. As a racing simulation arcade game, it's safe to say that Pole Position did not have a very entertaining storyline on which to build a television series. Therefore, the cartoon had very little in common with the game, including the vehicles themselves. The game appears to display Formula One-style racing cars, while the cartoon vehicles are far more technologically advanced. However, the creators were keen to attribute homage to the namesake license. The red vehicle represented Pole Position 1 and was named Wheels. The blue vehicle represented Pole Position 2 and was named Roadie. Both Wheels and Roadie had personalities similar to their drivers. The level-headed sister, Tess, piloted Wheels, while the hot-headed brother, Dan, drove Roadie. To make things even more interesting, Dan and Tess belonged to a secret crime-fighting agency that received missions from their uncle, Dr. Zachary Darrett.
From now on, like your parents were, you are the secret force of Pole Position.
Wait, crime fighters in a secret organization with sentient, talking vehicles that perform stunts? If this sounds familiar, you might be right. I'll give you 3 chances to guess a program with similar premise, but your first 2 guesses don't count. Although I could not find any articles or interviews linking the development of Pole Position cartoon to Knight Rider, I can say Knight Rider debuted on television 2 full years before Pole Position's first episode aired, so you can draw your own conclusions. For the most part, each episode was a self-contained adventure, neatly packaged with a bow and laugh by the ending credits. Dan and Tess performed stunts. Uncle Dr. Zach would call them about a crime that happened or was about to happen, and the kids would D-out to go solve the problem, all while worrying about their little sister participating, disregarding the helpful clue hunting of their kitty monkey baby pet, while always wearing helmets and seatbelts for safety. One recurring theme was the attempted theft of Wheels and Roadie.
Dan, Tess, it appears as if someone has tapped into our computer system and stolen the command codes to the Pole Position cars.
That means Roadie and Wheels are vulnerable to a takeover.
That and much worse.
Wheels and Roadie were actually self-contained computer boxes mounted in the dashboard of their cars, and could be removed and transported like an early 2000s iMac. And because they were basically portable brains with handles, evildoers attempted to kidnap them via dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Another recurring theme was the unexpected capabilities of the vehicles themselves. Wheels and Roadie always seemed to be able to Wesley Crusher themselves into whatever the episode needed. Hydroplane? Check. Low-level flying jet? Check. Need a grappling hook? Check. How about a fire hose? Check. Tess Darrett was voiced by Lisa Lindgren, a former teen model from the 1970s who went on to perform in General Hospital and Hill Street Blues. Sadly, Lisa passed away in 2005 at the age of only 44. Dan Darrett was voiced by David Coburn, an actor with over 85 credits to his name, including being the voice of Captain Planet himself from Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Dan and Tess were joined by their little sister Daisy, voiced by Kalina Kiff. Kalina was featured in many shows throughout the 1980s before taking a break from acting between 1991 and 2005. Other voice talent includes Jack Angel as Dr. Zach Darrett, who had over 300 voice credits to his name. Daryl Hickman voiced Rhodey. Daryl began his acting career with Paramount in 1934 at the age of only 3. And the voice of Wheels was Melvin Franklin, one of the founding members of the Motown singing group The Temptations, and one of 2 members that remained with the band throughout his lifetime. The Temptations, with Melvin, released 35 studio albums from 1964 to 1990. And of course, no good discussion of the voices for Pole Position would be complete without mentioning the show's theme song.
Ready when you are, Rhodey. In the danger zone. Pretty soon they'll be off on a mission. Hydrofoil mode, Rhodey.
Hydrofoil engaged, Dan.
What's behind
Wheels, hovercraft, quick!
Whether you like it or not, it is quintessential 80s rock. Compared to Fight to Survive for Bloodsport or Danger Zone from Top Gun, this theme song says get in, buckle up, and hold on. Composition credit for this song went to Shuki Levy, an Israeli-born American and a controversial figure in the creation of animation theme songs and background music for most of the syndicated cartoons of the 80s and 90s, but that's a topic for a future episode. The real star of this song is the vocalist, credited as Nick Carr. The internet narrowed down Nick Carr to Greek singer-songwriter Nikos Karvelis, who released an album under the pseudonym Nick Carr with 2 R's in 1985. However, I disagree. My money is on this Nicholas Carr, a French-American music editor and composer in Los Angeles, California, that worked on music for various animated shows throughout his career, including music for SpongeBob SquarePants. The Pole Position cartoon was developed by prolific 80s animation screenwriter James Michael Reeves, who had his pen in a vast majority of Saturday morning cartoons, including The Real Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he even won an Emmy Award for his writing in Batman the Animated Series. Dan, Tess, Daisy, and other character designs were created by Jesse Santos, a Filipino comic book artist who switched to animation design in the 1980s, creating characters for various shows like Black Star, Gem and the Holograms, and Tiny Toon Adventures. Machine and vehicle designs were created by Shinji Aramaki, a modern-day pioneer in 3D computer-generated animation in Japan, particularly known for his powered exoskeleton-type mecha. To add a little bit of fun to their creation, writers decided to link some of their episode titles to the great director Alfred Hitchcock. For example, Dial M for Magic instead of Dial M for Murder, 39 Stripes instead of 39 Steps, and To Clutch a Thief instead of To Catch a Thief. Despite everyone's hard work, Pole Position lasted only 13 episodes and was canceled after only 1 season.
Dan!
Don't worry. I've got everything under control.
Control? Give me a break.
Poor choice of words.
Hang on, Dan!
Tell that to the flagpole.
Straight line, Dan.
Oh, I named that the worst pun of the year.
Many people attributed the failure of the show to bad writing. I mean, the writers basically had no source material from which to work, so they threw something together that wasn't anywhere near the licensed brand. Throw in cheesy dialogue and some bad puns, alongside a healthy dose of Deus Ex Machina in the form of supercomputing cars, and you had a show that didn't know what it wanted to be when it grew up. As a personal fan of Pole Position, I would venture to say that children who watched the show at the time didn't care. It was an exciting adventure with a side serving of silly fun. Each episode started with some amazing vehicle stunts, and then continued into some sort of mystery to solve. There were older kids and younger kids, and a chittering anthro that was always getting into trouble, talking cars with buttons that did amazing things. I mean, I was glued to the screen, wearing my dad's motorcycle helmet, waiting for what would happen next. The show didn't make me want to play Pole Position or buy video games, I just enjoyed the adventure. As each episode was a self-contained adventure, the final episode ended like all the rest, with some sort of happy ending filled with bad puns or a laughing fade-out. As far as I can tell, there were no unresolved plot lines or cliffhanger endings. The show just seemed to fade away. Some have speculated the video game industry crash of 1983 contributed to the decline of video game-related licensing. But considering the overwhelming critical acclaim of Pole Position in the arcades during those 2 years, it seems more likely that the show, having no direct correlation to the video game on which it was based, caused it to be generally disregarded by viewers.
Looks like a fortune just hit us.
The Gold Town was built on low ground and subject to flash floods. Eventually, the inhabitants covered it up and built a new town on top.
Ooh, if Pole Position was made today, you can bet it would have a premise similar to Fast and Furious franchise. Perhaps instead of siblings, the vehicle drivers would be on opposite sides of the law. One could be an ex-Formula One racing superstar that turned to a life of crime because of some sort of Robin Hood-like reason. But a strict law-abiding federal agent would be out to catch him at any cost. That's my idea anyway, but I'd love to hear yours in the comments down below. If you're interested in sampling Pole Position, I recommend Episode 7, The 31 Cent Mystery, or Episode 10, To Clutch a Thief. Both have unique stories and a well-rounded use of all the characters the show has to offer. Leave me a note letting me know what you thought of those or any other episodes you happen to watch. And thank you for taking this trip through Pole Position with me. If you're new to the channel, I'm doing deep dives into the cartoons of my childhood, remembering every facet of the stories that defined my youth. I hope you enjoyed this video enough to hit subscribe and share it with other people. Leave a comment below so we can share our memories together and even make new ones. And you can leave me ideas for future videos. Maybe you could hit that notification bell so you know when the next episode is available too. Here's a hint about my next episode. See you soon.
Conqueror. Only one force can stop this evil, a handful of brave men. In specially created exoframes, they can be transported anywhere to fuse with incredible assault weapon systems.